Hello all to another video. Today, um, I want to talk about self-forgiveness. When was the last time you allowed yourself to forgive your past mistakes, your trauma, the pain that you hold on to, the negative things that you think define who you are? When was the last time that you allowed yourself to feel an apology or forgiveness toward yourself? I think many of us, when we regret things, when we hold on to pain, um, guilt, we think that we need forgiveness from other people, people that we may have hurt, or we think that we need forgiveness from the people that have hurt us. But when was the last time that you forgave yourself? And this isn't necessarily to imply blame, like you're blaming yourself for your pain. That's not it at all. When we forgive, we allow ourselves to acknowledge that we were hurt, whether it was from somebody else or whether we've done the hurt. We acknowledge that we feel what we feel, and by forgiveness, we can let it go. We can send it off. We can realize that we've through the acknowledgement of self-forgiveness and the awareness and the intention of wanting to forgive ourselves, we are essentially realizing that we want to change and we want to grow. And by self-forgiveness, we allow ourselves to grow by letting go of who we once were, and or things that no longer serve us or define who we are any longer. By self-forgiveness, we can move on from the pain that we hold on to. Because ironically, when we hold on to pain and guilt and shame and regret, doesn't matter who the blame is, we just pass it on to other people. And the cycle persists. When we continuously hold on to pain, we inflict it on others, whether it was intentional or not. And that just in return makes us more painful, gives us more things to feel regretful about, shameful about, guilt about. And through self-forgiveness, we can allow that cycle to cease, to stop. By self-forgiving ourselves, we can move on to other things and live a more positive, fruitful life. Even though it's not easy at first to forgive ourselves, we like to think that through holding on to pain and shame and regret, that we're somehow doing an honor or a service by remembering. Otherwise, if we didn't remember or care, then it's as if it doesn't bother us and that we're arrogant, and that's not the case at all. Through self-forgiveness and letting go, you create new paths for yourself that can allow love and compassion and understanding to come forth, so that you can create a new cycle for yourself. And it doesn't necessarily mean that pain and things like that no longer apply to you. It's just that when these things come, you realize that by harboring it, it just makes us, it's as if we're drinking poison that we never concocted in the first place. And it also allows us to maintain how we treat other people by not, by forgiving ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to treat other people in a manner that we never intended in the first place. We were just in pain. So self-forgiveness can really heal us and transform us for the better. And I'm learning myself to forgive the things that I've done, by acknowledging that I was once hurt and I still am hurting. And through that acknowledgement, I recognize that I need to change, and that I can change, and I can do better. And self-forgiveness allows me that sort of transformation to be made possible. And we can do acts of self-forgiveness by looking at ourselves in the mirror, staring at not just our eyes or our appearance, but looking deep in our eyes. And not just your eyes, but looking deep into your eyes through the window of the soul. And telling yourself that you were in pain, which made you, pass it on to others. And it's not your fault because of that. It's not your fault. You were just learning from your past and the things that happened to you. And you happen to absorb it like every human being does, and we pass it on. You see, every person as a child, they're innocent. We're all children are innocent, and were once children. And the pain that we have was never our fault in the first place. So therefore, that also ceases blaming other people for their pain, and it also allows a more compassionate perspective. But through self-forgiveness, it can allow us to see that cycle and to stop it and to open the pathway for new beginnings to unfold for us. So yeah, another act of self-forgiveness is writing the pain and the trauma things down, and write it down specifically, everything that you feel pain about, that hurt you, and taking that piece of paper and crumpling it up, ripping it into a million bits, lighting it on fire. It's just a physical representation of you shedding that aspect of yourself and opening, as I said before, a pathway to new beginnings. Another act of self-forgiveness can be just, spending time in nature with yourself and just being with you, not just being alone, but being with yourself. Reflecting on what you feel inside and acknowledging every feeling that you feel. Fear, negativity, even positivity, loving feelings, acknowledging that you feel them. And being in tune with your body, because when we're in tune with our emotions and our feelings, then we're better able to recognize what it is that we feel inside, rather than avoiding and evading and distracting ourselves from it. We can face them. And that's also an act of self-forgiveness, is by being in tune and reflective with ourselves. If this world was a little bit more reflective and everyone was a little bit more introspective, it would be a different world that we live in. Fortunately, not everyone is like that. But we can be like that. We can do those things. So self-forgiveness is a very powerful technique, if you want to call it, method to change and transformation. I myself am working on it to cut off the pathway. The cycle of pain outward, pain inward. Self-forgiveness, can cut that in half and stop that. So with all that being said, let's start today. Let's start forgiving ourselves from our past, because the past is no longer here. The past is just a reflection of whatever thought that keeps flashing back in our head, and we keep announcing it. And we can let those thoughts go, those thoughts of pain, and we can create new experiences of positive ones that we can hold on to instead. So that's it for this video. I hope you got something in return. That's pretty much it for this. Have a good day.